fast forwarding and we're gonna jump in, so this is where this fits in. This works for get other prices, this works for, you know, and you think it over, this works for, I don't know why it's so expensive, you can pull that pie chart out and they get an immediate sense of where it's at. Why are other people less? Well, because somewhere along that, they're doing the work cheaper, and we refuse to do that. They're being in business in some way that's cheaper, you can't be 5-star if you do that, or they're not keeping anything to stay in business long term. There's plenty of businesses going down that road over there. Right, so that's an easy one to get through. Talk to spouse. I need to talk to my spouse about this. So this is, again, presumably we didn't handle it well in the explore step, didn't give them that space to have that conversation, couldn't get them on the phone, for whatever reason that spouse has not been able to get pulled into the conversation. Now know that if you've done the system the way the system is spelled out, you've handled this already. Right? And still, there's going to be times in the real world where we haven't, and that didn't happen, and the spouse has not been brought in, and now they're going to say, I need to talk to my spouse. What do you say? Let's get them on the phone. What do they say? Not going to happen. All right, so it's not going to happen, so we know that. So what if we just dodged that altogether and said, well, we could talk to him if you want, but if he was here, which one or two of these options do you think you'd be choosing from? It's the same question, you see that? It's the same question. And that's it. It's that easy. If he was here, which two of these do you think you'd be choosing from? Well, I don't know, probably, I have no idea. Okay, so, and that's fair, because he may have a completely different take on what these options are. So let's boil it down to the very basic minimum. I'm assuming that both you and your spouse were, you know, on board with the fact of having somebody out to get this thing fixed today. Yeah. So do you think it's fair to say that we should do at least that? While you're waiting to have that conversation, should we just take care of getting it running again? There's a really simple yes or no. Now they can do that, and you can still have the conversation. Now you can still let them have that conversation. They're like, no, absolutely not, we're not doing this. Then I'm going to call out the elephant in the room. All right, so your air conditioner's broken. You said that you wanted it done today, but you're saying that your husband would not want you to get it done today. So am I safe to assume that there's something else happening here besides that you want to talk to your husband about this? Yes, it's way more than I want. Okay. All right. See, so notice how just staying present to it flushes out the real objection. That's just staying present to it. And most of the time, when you do the talk to spouse thing, you ask which one of those you know they'd be interested in going ahead with. They're going to have an answer for you right away. Which two of these do you think they'd be choosing from? No point. And why is that? Which one of those do you think that?
When you're actually going to the door, and you know you're in your first greeting, and it is just you know a man or a female there, especially if it's a female, how do you approach that situation to find out if they are married and if the husband is not there in a tactful manner? Because I mean you really don't want to just go.
Are you married?
Are you single?
Hey.
Is the decision maker present?
I mean, is there a real tactful way to actually approach that so that you can, because sometimes they don't let you know until the very end.
So I would like to invite you to think back through the complete step, and what was one of the key questions that we asked that might flush that out?
We will be getting it done today. Yes.
How many people?
Okay, so now think about that for a moment. If I'm married, and I know that I want to have a conversation with my spouse before I do this, that's now going to surface right there. Okay, so it sounds like something that we're going to go ahead and get fixed today. Yeah, for sure. Okay, fantastic. And I've got the information that I need. And this person is in the position to make that call. Now, if you're going on a replacement lead, okay, so that's an entirely different call. We're talking service system, that's sales system. In sales system, where we're talking, you know, where they've called us out to give them a price on replacing equipment, that's specifically the reason for the call. And I'm assuming, I'm gathering that most of the calls that you run, even on sales calls, are turnovers from leads, from repair calls. Is that true? Or do you get a number of them that are just, give me a quote on a new air conditioner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
You get both, we get both.
There, well, yeah, there's a specific person that runs pretty much the lead.
The marketing lead.
That's marketing leads.
Yeah, yeah,
But
okay.
there are tech leads that
Yeah.
get sent over.
That doesn't, I would say the majority of that scenario where a quote on the system is necessary comes from a service call or a maintenance.
Okay, so in those cases, you're not gonna set the spouse thing up on the phone. When you have a pure marketing lead where they phone you and say, hey, I saw your ad and I wanted to, get a price on changing an air conditioner. There's scripts on the phone that we would use to make sure that both decision makers are present there. In that, like that husband and wife are both present, and it's very assumptive in that case. How many people are in your family? 4, all right, so, who else is gonna be involved in making the decision? This is a phone call, setup on a sales lead. So let's get back to the world of service. You're standing at the front door and there's only one person there, and you wanna know if somebody else is gonna be involved in making that decision. Can I assume that we're gonna go ahead and get this fixed today? Or is it your intent to get this thing fixed today? However that intent question is, that's gonna flush that thing out very readily. Now, as it grows, as you uncover more things, and perhaps even they start thinking, well, maybe this is about replacement today. Now it's possible that we need to bring a spouse into the conversation, right? And so that's where, if you go back to the explore step, this is all built in. As I'm going out to prepare options, please take a moment and have that phone call with your spouse. You've already got an idea what things are gonna cost, and be sure to allow them the opportunity to be involved in this conversation by a conference call or FaceTime if you want to do that. Okay? That will take that away. We don't even need to have them present, right? The technology will do that in the conference call. And I dare you to start this. Just try this a few times and watch how many spouses you get on the phone. And it just makes the whole thing so much easier. It's just so much easier. Because now there's not one person second guessing the next, they're talking about it. And then there may be a time when after I've gone through the options, then I say, would it be better if I just dismiss myself for a couple of moments and give you a chance to talk through? Right? And I'll do that, just excuse myself outside the house for a couple of moments and let them have that space to talk.
That works really well.
Yeah. It's just being transparent, and I've got nothing to hide, like, oh, here's my options, and just pick which one you want.
I have been in a situation before though where, if I know that they are ready to have it fixed today, and, the answer has been, let's get it fixed.
Right.
Especially if, a female, because most women don't like houses without air conditioning. Then all of a sudden, when it did come down to price, it was, oh, I need to talk to my husband.
Right.
And the whole time I didn't know that was, one of the variables in my solution.
Right.
So that's why I was wondering, is there a way to hint at that, or is there a way to, if you're not sure, or if you don't have, if you don't think that you're getting all the information that you need, is there a way to hint at that to just verify that maybe there isn't one, or where is he if there is one?
Yeah. At the front door, that's difficult, because no matter how you ask that question, it's who wears the pants in the family. Like that's what it is, right? You're insulting whoever's that's standing at the door, doesn't matter how you do it.
Well, what about who's the decision maker in the home?
So it's the same thing.
Same thing.
If I'm standing at the door and you're asking me that question.
Oh, I'm not saying at the door.
Right,
I'm saying at that point right there.
okay.
Or okay, never mind, I see what you're saying. Never mind.
So a better question, if you're at that point and you're not sure why they're not making a decision, so one of the ways to flush this out, and this is a sales system thing, and I teach sales as well as service. This is service that we're talking about, but we're kind of blending lines here a little. So I'll offer the question: how do decisions typically get made on this kind of a scale in your home? You're gonna open up all kinds of responses. Well, we're gonna get some quotes, we're gonna get a few different numbers and make sure that we're getting a fair price, and we're gonna sit down and talk about it. And I'm assuming that you're talking about that with your spouse, yeah? Right? Or I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna think it through, I'm gonna do my research. Right now, that's a very individual, right? I'm just gonna let them answer the question. How does decisions like this typically get made? And, well, why do you wanna know that? Well, because I wanna honor that process, whatever that looks like for you. I wanna make sure that I'm doing my best possible work to make sure that you can do that.
Say that again?
How do decisions like this typically get made? There's a how question again.
decisions on this scale.
Yeah, they might ask why you wanna know that, why do I wanna know that? I wanna be able to facilitate that, I wanna be able to make as much allowance for that to happen as possible.
That is a lot more tactful than,
That's fun, you can go that route if you, you know, if you've got the rapport established, and as long as you're not being creepy, that's not really. Not endorsing creepy by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, you do. Okay, next. Who's been helped by this conversation just now? Diane, you got some tools that you can put to work, you got some thoughts to brew around. So now I want to go back and I want to emphasize a couple things, and we're going to get ready to round out our day here. I want to emphasize a couple things as it relates to this. So one of my hesitation is to even talk about objections here, because we get so stuck in that. Like, that's where we're going to live. That's what's going to happen. And I want to go back right to the beginning of this thing, when we set out to prepare ourselves really awesome for the day, to be the best version of us possible, showing up at that customer's home. Then we greet, and we bring out that confirmation of intent to buy. That's part of that conversation along with our agenda. Then we do the explore step, and we clear objections all along the way, including offering an opportunity to talk to their spouse while I'm out in the truck. Can you see how much of these objections have just disappeared? And by the time you get to this point, we've thrown darts at that circle with all the, and then we're hitting all of those spots multiple times. Is this the right person? Is this the right company? Is this the right solution? Can I trust them? Is the price right? Do I need it now? All of those questions have started to being answered as we've gone through this. So, focus on the process.